Attention now towards some other news that's coming in. The United States has announced a 25% tariff on trade with any country that does business with Iran. A move that is aimed at pressurizing Tehran amid ongoing mass protests, meaning major Iranian trading partners such as China, India, Turkey, Germany, South Korea and Japan could face higher US tariffs if they continue economic ties with Iran. Iran's main trading partners now at risk from the US tariff include China, Iran's largest partner by far, with about $22 billion in exports to China in 2022, mostly oil, and significant imports from China as well. India too is at risk. According to reports, India and Iran bilateral trade was roughly $1.34 billion in the first 10 months of 2025, including basmati rice, fruits, vegetables and pharmaceuticals. Let us now take a look at all the major trade partners of Iran. So, this is very interesting to look at given the 25% tariffs that the US will be implementing if these countries actually continue their trade with Iran. So, let us look at the top 5 trading partners with Iran. Firstly, China, like we have mentioned, look at that basket, the figures are $37 billion, those are figures from 2022. So, that is the trade volume, $37 billion between China and Iran. We have also spoken about how petroleum and oil forms the major basis or major chunk of this trade as well, and China's imports as well. Then we look at UAE. The figures are around $21.9 billion, and this is the latest 2024-25 figures. With Iran, the UAE has a bilateral trade of $21.9 billion. Next, we look at Turkey, number 3. Turkey comes in at number 3, and it also has a trade volume of $11.9 billion. These figures are from 2022. So, Turkey is slightly lower than UAE, but China has the biggest figure of them all. Let's look at number 4, Iraq. Iraq actually also very close to Turkey in this race. So, Iraq also has a trade volume with Iran of $11.9 billion. These are the latest figures of 2024-25. Germany then comes in before India, a very surprising entry over here. Germany has a trade volume of $2.078 billion. These figures are from 2022. And at number 6 comes India. The figures are around $1.34 billion, and this is the first 10 months of 2025. So, this is how the entire trading board looks like right now for Iran, and these are the countries that might face the most disruptions in trade if they actually go ahead with their trade with Iran, and if US actually imposes that 25% tariff. Let me in fact go across to my colleague Aditya Vadhavan for more of this. Aditya, we are obviously seeing a lot of trade disruptions that might happen if US goes on to implement that 25% tariff on countries trading with Iran. India stands at number 6. We have a trade volume of $1.34 billion. So, obviously, India will also be looking at how to deal with these new tariffs that have been put in place.
Absolutely, Shivani, indeed, at this juncture, India is definitely, the Chabahar, the very important Chabahar project with Iran will definitely be affected by this, because a lot of Indian and Iranian investment was there in the Chabahar project, and definitely, already US has said that anybody who deals with does trade with Russia also, they will be faced with 500% tariff. So indeed now, here comes in action the CAATSA, the Countering American Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. This is what America is doing at this juncture. All the adversaries, particular adversaries like Russia, Iran, America is, warning the other countries also, those countries who indulge in trade with these particular countries will be either sanctioned or be given additional tariffs. India's already, Trump has already imposed 50% tariffs on India, which is, causing a major, loss to some sections of the Indian economy. So definitely, in the long run, this can be very problematic. Considering the trade deal is also on the table between India and US. However, now since Iran countries who trade with Iran will face 25% tariffs. Additionally, is also a very, very difficult situation. Shivani, back to you.
Obviously, Aditya, we're also seeing, basmati rice and tea exports, which form the majority of that export basket of India to Iran. Those will also get affected.
Well, absolutely. Those were also expected to get affected. Definitely. The Indian rice exporters are also worried, that this move will also dent their businesses as well, because considering the fact, Trump has been very, very vocal about, he's using this tariff measure as an intimidating factor for many countries. So indeed, there could be several disruptions in the trade as well. Shivani, back to you.
Right, Aditya. In fact, also joining us on the phone line is Major General G.G. Trivedi. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. A very good afternoon to you. We appreciate your time. So when you're looking at, Trump's tariff game, we are seeing another 25% now being implemented on countries that will continue to do trade with Iran. India also has its fair share of trade with Iran. It's looking at $1.38 billion. Do you think this will affect India in the long run as well? India should look at other options, because we see major agricultural products like basmati rice, like tea being affected because of this.
Definitely, Shivani, because we need to understand that President Trump has taken a very stern line as far as the protests that are going on in Iran. And he has come out very openly that there are options that are on the table, including the use of force in support of the protesters, right? Now, one of the options that President Trump has is the imposition of tariffs, because that is one strategy he has followed across the board, and he has almost weaponized the trade. So therefore, this announcement that additional 25% tariffs will be imposed on those countries which continue to do business with Iran will definitely impact India, because India has number of interest with Iran. One is the Chaba port. We have invested money, and we are looking at the Chaba airport as a transit route to Central Asian countries. And also, you rightly mentioned that there are certain agriculture products like, basmati rice and others, which are also part of the trade. So I think India will have to recalibrate, because we, as it is, are under 50% tariff from President Trump for buying oil from Russia, and this will further complicate the situation. And as President Trump is very much inclined to use tariffs to negotiate, I think India will have to rethink on our trade ties with Iran.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. In fact, also joining us on the broadcast right now is Mithali Nikore, senior economist. Thank you so much, Mithali, for joining us. We appreciate your time. When we're looking at this entire tariff, that has been implemented by the US, India is already seeing 50% tariffs. Now, with 25% more tariffs, it becomes a very difficult choice for India. Should it choose Iran, where it has a constant trade of around $1.38 billion, or should it, look at diversifying, look at, some other trade or explore some other trade options, Mithali?
Thank you so much, Vani. And this is, today I think President Trump has again demonstrated, as he has been doing since April 2025, that countries have to make very hard choices. I don't think this is only a hard choice for India, but so many European countries are also extensively trading with Iran and, are purchasers of Iran's oil, particularly, and I think even our trade with Iran is dominated by oil purchases. See, at the end of the day, this is almost like a zero-sum game. It's not like he's saying, "Oh, reduce your purchases of oil from Iran." He's literally saying, if you do business with Iran, then we impose another 25% tariff. And overnight to make these changes, even for the government of India, is quite difficult. So at this point in time, I do feel that diversification is really not an issue. The real choice that India has to make is whether to be impacted and bullied by another country, or whether to go ahead and continue with its business wherever it gets the cheapest oil.
And ma'am, when we're looking at this, do you think it's fair, because the target is Iran for the US? However, in the end, countries like India, like Germany, like China are being affected, because these are additional tariffs on our trade basket.
Absolutely. I mean, there is absolutely no fairness or rules-based order that we have actually been seeing in international trade since April 2025. I mean, if we look at the way the rules-based trading order has been toned down with these one-sided tariffs, there is absolutely no justification for this. And if these are issues, then this is why the United Nations exists. I mean, there is a reason why the United Nations exists. Why are these issues not being discussed in a multilateral or bilateral forum? But, rather we are seeing the US Army going and attacking countries like Venezuela, which cannot even defend themselves. So at the end of the day, I don't think there is any fairness left. And for an economist, it's very hard to navigate these ever-changing geopolitical conditions, which are not fully motivated by, pure economics.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. With that, we are slipping into a short commercial.